stage is.
Thank you for coming to my talk. I'm not comfortable with talks. So if you want to stop me and ask questions, do so, please. Do so, please. Okay. I will talk about a review, a short review of what's happening in the literature about AI. I cannot keep up. Let's start from there. I cannot keep up with all the literature that is being published today in AI, in education. Unfortunately, much of this literature is not coming from educationists or people who believe in education, or people who know what the philosophers of education have said in the past. I did mention him in the in my paper. For example, Seymour Papert. Have you ever heard? Seymour Papert believed in the 1970s, before the era of computers, in MIT. He was working with Jean Piaget in MIT. He believed that the computer should be at the children's story. Should be a children's story. And indeed, he created the logo, which was programmable by young people. I also want to mention an anecdote involving my life. And I need my mobile, because I asked my daughter. Last week I learned, after I prepared everything here, that she's writing a book. My daughter is writing a book. She's an exceptional writer. And she's 13 years old, though. But her English is formidable. We are English speakers at home, and she's so good in English. And when I started reading the book, I asked her, did you use ChatGPT to create it? And she made this face. Of course not. That's my thing. ChatGPT, she said, doesn't let you think. ChatGPT gives you answers, but it doesn't let you develop critical thought. I'm trying to find, I asked her during this previous session, when this came to mind, I asked her to tell me the name of her book. It's called The Grove of the Forgotten Seasons. The Grove, a 13-year-old writing such literature without the help of ChatGPT. But I had to promise something, that I would publish it through ChatGPT. Okay? So we are reading, well, I am reading a lot of literature praising the revolution of AI, that AI is bringing to the educational field, particularly in higher education, but not only. I've read, even for this conference, I've read papers coming from primary schools, with studies coming from exceptional papers which came from investigations in primary schools, the use of AI in primary schools, etc. So I need to make this disclaimer here, okay? I am no expert in AI. No, okay? My expertise lies in the use of technology, including AI, particularly generative AI, because by the way, and please confirm or not, AI has been with us for 30 years in cars, in televisions, even in toasters. Ask Jeff Bezos. He's in Venice at the moment. AI has been with us for many, many years. What's new for us is generative AI. And we should talk about generative AI because it's an incredible tool. But as other speakers have said in other presentations, it will not solve education's problems. I do when I started my work in AI, not AI, in technology, I had this author, which I followed. Do you know about Mike Prensky? Mike Prensky, okay, created the word digital literary, digital immigrants and digital natives. We are, according to Prensky, the digital immigrants, our students who are familiar with technology. At the time, the PlayStation was the tool to use for young people. Okay, he noted that students are familiar; they are growing up with technology. So we cannot go into our classrooms presenting PowerPoint as I'm doing here. We need to engage them. We need to make them part of the learning process. And that's where John Dewey comes in. John Dewey, okay, the great philosopher, constructivist philosopher, he said, well, he never used the word constructivism, by the way, in his books or in his papers, but he insisted that education should be a cultural effort, should be a social effort. And that's where AI should help. AI has its problems. Use Grok, for example. Okay? Use Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI tool, and ask it about its democratic beliefs. She will quote Trump. Okay? Yes, she does quote Trump. Another thing that I urge my students to think about is the digital divide that AI can be creating. You know that ChatGPT is available to all students, but the best ChatGPT is paid for. And students cannot afford $20 a month to use the good version of ChatGPT. Okay, so we may be creating a digital divide. And we must be very conscious about it. I believe in AI as much as I believed in online learning, as much as I believed in technology in the classroom. AI is a precious tool, but it must be used cautiously. Indeed, I do allow and encourage the use of AI by students, okay? at all levels of education, including primary, secondary, higher, and even adult education. They need to know how to use it, not beyond lectures about prompts, beyond what the AI experts are telling us. It hurts me when I see a lecturer from IT going into a CPD, continuous professional development for teachers, talking about simply prompts without mentioning the negative aspects of ChatGPT and how we must be cautious about that. I also do use AI in my work. Yes, I do use AI. And something that my own students noted is that we may be becoming over-reliant on ChatGPTs. When I have a hard email to send, I pass it through ChatGPT and ask him to make it more legal sounding or formal. And he does a nice job. Well, the tool does a good job. So yes, we need to be careful, but I use it in a very prudent way, and I'm aware of the ethical consequences. Do you know that if you put qualitative answers in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to analyze these answers, you'll get the good answers, okay? More than NVivo at times. But what you don't know is that those anonymous qualitative interviews, for example, are stored by ChatGPT. And they can pop out in other people's work. So we need to be very, very careful, ethically or otherwise. As I said, there's a growing corpus of literature. I've never seen so much literature published after the COVID years on a particular subject. AI in the classroom is very, very, very popular now. The pace of these publications is outstanding. And I sincerely cannot keep up. I don't know about you, but I cannot keep up. However, much of this writing is not backed up by sound educational theory, particularly constructivism. AI experts even believe they are expert pedagogists, which I think is wrong. This presentation will try to fill this gap. Something that has been doing the rounds, okay, sorry if there's a pro-Trump supporter here, a MAGA, but I didn't see any hats, okay? I didn't create that, okay? It was posted by Trump himself, okay, in his social network, and that when the American Pope was chosen, okay? So what I intend to, the time that I have, to explore the use of AI and particularly Gen AI, generative AI, in education. We need to understand what constructivism and constructionism by Dewey and Popper are, and obviously we need to review the benefits and concerns and that come with AI. And let's recommend best practices. So, introduction, theoretical framework, methodology, finding and discussions, conclusions, and summary will be the structure of this presentation. Okay, that's my daughter and myself. Okay, if you don't know how to use this, take an image, any image, go on ChatGPT and tell him the prompt is, the trick words are change this image into a Ghibli image. Okay, and you'll get that. You can get even a Muppet Show, image through ChatGPT. The literature reviewed, and this is not, I must stress, this is not a comprehensive, a complete review of the literature. I cannot keep up. So I chose around 65 papers. It is clear that AI in education is transforming learning, that generative AI will not replace teachers. Okay, this is something that has been written in papers, that AI can replace teachers. It can never happen. It can replace lecturers, though. Why? Because some lecturers go into a classroom with a bunch of notes, reading from these notes which students can find even on ChatGPT today. So that's the wrong way to use ChatGPT. And Gen AI will not replace teachers, perhaps the bad ones, perhaps the bad ones. As has been said in many of the presentations I attended today, they boost ChatGPT boosts personalization by creating tailored experiences for students. Constructivism and constructionism, for me, are the theoretical lenses that inform my ideas about create a week plan based on the curriculum for lesson plans. Okay, and I accept that. Why not? Alfie, why should they spend nights and nights to create lessons when ChatGPT can do it better than them? I even asked my students, my dissertation students up till PhD level, to get their chapters proofread by ChatGPT. I mean, the ideas are theirs, but the grammar is not. But it helps. It helps. Real-time formative assessment can be created through Gen AI, through generative AI, but ethical concerns remain, and we must be very cautious how to use them. A quick word about constructivism. Constructivism, according to John Dewey, okay, learners build knowledge, teachers act as facilitators rather than as Paulo Freire. Have you ever heard about Paulo Freire, the Brazilian theorist? Okay, Paulo Freire talks about the wrong of the teachers who impart knowledge he calls it banking education. Banking education, according to Freire and before him, John Dewey, will create undemocratic relationships built on lies. Again, Trump comes to mind. Built on lies. Okay? So traditional education does not encourage critical dialogue. It does not